I'm very happy to be here today. So we are going to present Welcome City Lab for 10 minutes, and then I will give the speech to two startups of ours that are going to present their services. In any case, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to interrupt me. And if you have other questions afterwards, we are just exhibiting over there is in the stand number 105 in this hall dedicated to innovation. So welcome City Lab. How can I pass the slides, please? Yes. So we are based in Paris. We were created 4 years ago, and our goal is to help young entrepreneurs create their company in the tourism industry, because their main objective is to be connected with the travel industry and to promote their own services. We are part of a network of 13 incubators which spread throughout the city. So it's, thank you very much. So we are part of Paris & Co. with different incubators. Each of them is specialized on a different vertical, on different economic sector. As you can see, like sport, publishing, food tech, e-health, human resources, human mobility, etc. So this is very convenient for us because we have partners coming from other sectors, and we know that usually innovation doesn't come from tourism itself. It comes from mobility, telecom, from other sectors. So it's a very good strength for us because we can interact with people coming from other environment, and this brings innovation and new ideas. So we were created 4 years ago. It was a very great surprise for us because it turned out that we were the first incubator in the world dedicated to tourism and travel and hospitality. Our objectives are to identify the future unicorns of the European international tourism. It's what I told you before. Our goal is to help young people who have bright ideas but have trouble in getting in touch with the tourism industry, have trouble in experimenting, to do it faster and to be in contact with their future clients. Our second objective is to create a culture of innovation in the tourism and travel industry. And our third objective is to foster relationships between the key actors of this industry and startups. So our key figures for the past 4 years, we incubated around 100 startups that raised 150 million euros and created 500 jobs. We try to increase this number every year. We organize more than 200 events every year in our premises. And another asset of Welcome City Lab is that we have more than 1,000 tourism startups in the world in our database. So that's very easy for us to ask questions. If you're a big group, a big company, and you want to interact with a startup or to find the best service that corresponds to the needs you need, so you can ask us to send a questionnaire or find the best startup that really matches your needs. So these are the new startups selected for this batch. So you can find them and meet them over there. I'm not going to present them all because it would be too long. But what I can tell is that we are really pleased to see that every year we receive very innovative startups in all fields. I mean, in the fields dealing with artificial intelligence, with chatbots, with technology, with virtual reality, but not only tech. Innovation cannot be limited only to the tech environment. You can be innovative by presenting a service, a new service, or a new use of an existing service. So you have to understand innovation as a global thing, as a global movement, and that's why, for instance, we have startups that really deal with logistics, new concepts for youth hostels, for hotels, for restaurants, or startups giving new services to new segments of clientele for tourism. So I think it's a good way to understand innovation, because innovation is very diverse, and it is through this diversity that we can really detect the right idea for the future. Every year, we also publish a trend book, which I brought here. So we have some copies on our stand. What is this trend book? We have created a network of international correspondents throughout the world, in China, in Africa, in America, in South America. They tell us what kind of startups are being created in the world for the past 12 months. And sometimes we realize that the same kind of startup, the same kind of idea has just been created with 2 or 3 months of intervals in different continents. So this means that there is an international trend that is going to impact your jobs, your company, and the industry of tourism. So I think we are probably one of the only one to do that in the world, to try to detect what kind of startups are being created and how they are going to impact your job in the near future. So this is of course translated into English, and you can download it on our website on welcomecitylab.parisandco.paris. So as a conclusion, I would say that it has been a fantastic adventure to create this incubator, because it's really, we can see that the tourism industry is evolving very quickly and very fast. But sometimes when you are a big company or a big group, it can be very hard to understand how to interact with startups, how to detect the right startup, because it sometimes can be difficult to find the right person. So through an incubator, you can have a mediator to go faster and to interact, to experiment new services with startups, and then meet your needs as a big group. And what we try to do also at the Welcome City Lab, we try to organize and create an international network of tourism incubators. So if you represent another city or another state, we're here at your service to help you design and create such an incubator in your own city, in your own state, because we think that we will be all stronger all together by creating an international network of incubators and by fostering like an Erasmus of startup. So by exchanging startups and helping them export better and faster, we think that it would really enhance our attractiveness and enhance the services we give to the tourism industry. Thank you very much for your attention, and I remain at your disposal to answer your questions. Thank you. Any question?
No question from the audience? Please.
Thank you. I would like to ask what kind of support do you give to startups? What are conditions to accept project, and what are criteria?
Okay. So every year we launch a call for application to recruit the new batch of startups. The conditions are: you have to prove that you bring an innovation to the tourism market. So this can be a tech innovation or an innovation in services or in use. Then you have to bring a team of different people that bring competencies and skills that are complementary, so that you can ensure that the product and the project is going to be held by a real strong team. Then the third condition is you have to bring a new way of inventing tourism and how to interact with big groups and big companies. So it can be B2B or B2B2C. So how you are going to bring that. And of course, another condition is how is your business plan? Do we think that your business plan is serious, and how you're going to be able to take off in the tourism industry? So then afterwards, what are the services we provide? So we provide from 1 year to 3 year incubation program. So it can be a long program. And you will be surrounded by coaches in all the fields and the services you need for your own development. So this means in marketing, in management, in digital, in communication, in experimentation. So it's not, the Welcome City Lab is not only a co-working space where you sit down, you can work there, have the Wi-Fi, and maybe perhaps meet some people that are going to come to give a lecture or a conference. No, it's more than that. You have a global team of 4 people that are day to day at your disposal to help you and to give you the best advice how to build your company, how to hire, how to manage it, how to find the right people, and how to develop on the tourism market. And then our strength, as I was telling about Paris & Co, as we are part of a network of 13 incubators, we share the costs for other coaches that are specialized on global topics like legal specs, financial specs, etc. So if you have specific questions related to tourism, you can ask us. So the little team I run of 4 people. But if you have other questions that deal with general questions about managing a company, you can ask the coaches of Paris & Co, and they will be also at your disposal. And finally, the final service we provide is that you pitch in front of investment funds, venture capital, and we help you find the best finance tools to finance and fuel your company.
Laurent, thanks a lot. Now we are very curious, which will be the first startup presenting for us?
I think it's Q-Emotion.
Slide. So, thanks. Hello, I'm Grégoire. I have created this startup with Mathieu 3 years ago because we believe that our emotions are key in human relationship, but also, and more specifically, in business relationship. So you can see that more than 90% of the factors of loyalty are linked to emotion. So I will talk with you about emotion during a couple of minutes, but I have a question for you, a quick quiz. Can you guess and tell me what are the 6 primary emotions that are universal, that people can feel in every country of the world? So you have 6 emotions to find. I'm listening to you. Anger is 1. Fear is 2. Joy, happiness, yes, 3. Sadness, I've heard. 4, you missed 2. Surprise, okay. And the last one, the disgust. So basically you have 6 primary emotions, and what is interesting is that it traduces different needs from your travelers, different expectations. And we will help you to understand this different type of emotion from your travelers, to be able to personalize your answers, your messages when you are dealing with them. I will show you some examples. The kind of benefits that our solution can bring to you is to benchmark your competitor in an emotional perspective, to personalize the customer experience of your travelers, for instance. I will show you some examples just after, to speed your customer service by answering more quickly thanks to prioritization or attribution. And last, we can also help to detect some critical situation thanks to different level of intensity of emotion. So before I show you some examples, how we do that, we use all kind of written feedbacks, like online reviews, for instance, that we can catch from TripAdvisor, or the emails a customer can send to you, verbatim from surveys, and every type of feedbacks or comment that you can find on the web. How does it work? We have developed different type of algorithm. The first type of algorithm, the objective is to understand, to detect emotion in the words that you use, in the expression, in the way that you write. And we have developed a very huge emotional dictionary in different languages that help us to understand the words that are emotional, and thanks to that we can quantify and qualify the different emotional states. Then we cross that with what people are talking about. It's the semantic analysis with other kind of algorithm. The objective is to understand very deeply what are the different subjects and what is the context of your emotion. For instance, you fly. Are you talking about your arrival at the airport or something during your flight? And so we can understand your emotion and the context of the emotion. And we give you the insight and the result through a platform, and I will show you right now some examples. So first we integrate the data that we want to analyze, your data, in the platform. Then we calculate an emotional index, which is like the idea is to catch the trend of the emotion globally or specifically. And we do that, it's like the outside temperature, so the highest it is, the best type of emotion it is. Then we categorize the different thematics, and we restitute you the different type of emotion and the intensity. We can also map the emotional states of your travelers during their customer journey. For instance, in a plane, we can see there how where are the most emotional area in a plane, or by seat, by airport of departure or destination, etc., etc., to better understand where are the best point or the pain point through the emotion perspective. You can also work on alerting system. The objective is to detect the most critical messages. For instance, if you are very angry about, I don't know, the lunch in the plane, or if you feel a lot of fear about the security, we can, through a million of messages, can help you to detect the messages that are the most critical, to answer them in priority. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any
questions?
questions from the audience?
For your alerting, many
Yeah.
people, they don't have shows their emotionals. What do you do for them? How do you collect data?
We work on comments that express emotions, and the idea is among a huge volume of commands to be able to detect in priority the one which are very emotional and critical from your perspective. But for sure, you have a lot of situations where you don't feel any emotion. So we focus on the commands which are, for instance, in specific emotion like disgust or a very intense joy, to make that.
So there's a lot of tech going on about face recognition.
Yeah.
And is there any chance to combine that technology with the data you're using now?
Yeah, because it's another way to detect emotions, which is interesting because it answers to other type of use case or context. Sometimes you don't speak or you don't write. And it's the same way to measure your emotion that we use and that this technology use. So we qualify the same type of emotion with the same scoring, and so we were discussing with other startups who do that to be able to integrate that.
Thank you. Quite interesting approach to integrate emotions as a very, very important factor when it comes to deal with people. So, next one.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Sébastien. I am the co-founder of Winglet. Winglet is an AI-based efficiency tools for flight bookings. To make a long story short, we provide the best available price for now and in the future. How we do build this? We process billions of data with our AI expertise in order to develop an algorithm, a machine learning algorithm. But the problem is that for air demand, the air demand is unpredictable, mainly because we have hardly any access to air availability, air inventory, sorry. So what do? We first will focus to reconstitute the inventory of any flight anywhere in the world on any airline. We will process the data, the third-party data that are available on the market, such as the availability status, the price per booking classes, and we will be able to re-estimate the inventory and the minimum price that can be forecasted out of the revenue management related to this inventory. But the second point, which is probably the most important point, is that we have developed several strategies to validate this forecast. And this is something that is really strategic, because if you're not enabled to validate the forecast, you won't be able to reinforce your machine learning algorithm. And that is what we focus on and where we are able to deliver very accurate estimate for any flight for the inventory. We have a margin error of around 5% to any flight that we can validate. And being able to do this on any airline, almost any airlines, we cover 93% of the airline scope. We are able to provide multiple services. We have multiple opportunities that could be either for the airlines, for the TMCs and the travel agencies, and also for airports. Our main focus today at ITB is to demonstrate how we can be useful for the TMCs and the travel agencies. We are able to understand the demand forecast, and of course, related to this demand forecast, we are able to predict the best price and give you the information whether you should book a ticket or wait a ticket. Our service could be implemented either with through a simple widget that you can have if you work on offline, but we can also integrate into your system just to have an instant information. It could be also if you have a B2C website like a widget to give your customer the information whether they have to book or should wait. So it could be either a conversion tool when the price is the right price to book, or a retention tool if we expect the price to drop. So you can ask for the email, for example.
We have also other opportunities for airline, of course, as we are able, and we are the only one who are able to provide real inventory for any airlines. We are able to provide the real-time demand and give an adaptive pricing solution that could be implemented through a cloud API. So we can almost help airlines to do real-time pricing. Last but not least is that we are able to provide this information also for airport. The PAX flow, for example, we know how many people will land in Berlin tomorrow. We are able to give this estimate, and of course it could be very useful to organize the flow within the airport to help the airline to adjust their commuting opportunity, but also for airport to develop new market routes by providing their marketing opportunities. So that's it. Thank you very much. If you have any question, I'll feel free to answer. Otherwise, we have a booth just over there at the Welcome City Lab stand, which is in this hall. So feel free to pop up if you have any additional question. Thank you very much.
A question from the audience, just for here. It's an amazing tech and data analytics approach. Did I get that right? You're working on the one hand side to get cheaper prices for the customers, on the other hand side to get higher prices for the airlines?
It could be both. The problem today is that if you look at the airline industry, you still have 20 empty seats. So there is somewhere a mismatch between offer and demand. If we are able to provide the airline with the correct price and we can give the customer the confirmation that the price is the correct price, then you will have a much better match. So we think we can help both. At this moment, you still have 20 empty seats that are just spoiled, because whenever a plane leaves with empty seats, you never get back the seats.
Great. Very, very great approach. I think that's kind of revolutionary approach.
Do you have any conflicts with the airlines who refuse to give you the information about the capacity?
That is a very good question. We believe that the price, we will always have access to the price. But the number of seats, anyway, we know that this number will disappear in a soon future, especially in the NDC context. But what we are doing is just we are mapping this information as much as we can right now. So from a price configuration, we would be able to continue to have this, inventory forecast, and more our validation strategy will still help us to still be able to get this forecast. We believe that the NDC will, of course, let's say, how to say this, with the NDC we won't have, in a certain way, as many information as we have today with the availability status. But we also believe that this is an opportunity for us with our validation strategy to be able to give back this kind of transparency that will soon disappear.
Any more questions? So thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here.